Thank you. If I could have everyone's attention, please. I'll call to order our meeting for December 23, 2013. Jill, if you would, call the roll.
Mr. Matthews.
Here.
Mr. Moffett.
Here.
Mr. Pauley.
Here. As each of you is aware, this is a very significant milestone meeting of the Lexington Township Board of Trustees. So I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that from the beginning of our meeting. We have our ordinary agenda items that we're going to go through, but what I'd like for each of you to be doing while we go through these agenda items is just kind of picture yourselves about 28 years younger. What you were doing. That may be difficult for some of you, but there's one person in the room in particular who I'm really putting this burden on to think about what you were doing roughly 28 years ago and how things have changed. We may be calling on some of you for some insight, some recollection, that type of thing, of what you were doing 28 years ago and what's transpired in the past 28 years. So there's a challenge for you, Ed, for your last meeting. All right, and if you would bear with us, we'll just go through these items as smoothly and quickly as we can here for Ed's official last meeting. We have the minutes prepared for us from our regular trustees meeting dated December 10, 2013. Mike or Ed, did you have any corrections or changes?
I have none.
Those will stand approved as presented for us. Public speaks tonight. Anyone have anything for us before we move on to the agenda? All right. Ed, move on to the road department.
Mike?
Request approval for a then and now purchase order to Alliance Motors in the amount of $422.51 for repairs to truck 11 ABS wheel sensor.
So moved.
Second.
Yes. Request approval for a purchase order to AmeriGas in the amount of $1,246.90 for propane for the road department.
So moved.
And second.
Yes. Request approval for a purchase order to Orion Equipment in the amount of $1,650 for snowplow blades.
You're wearing out the snowplow blades early this year. I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Yes. And also request a purchase order to Cargill Salt in the amount of $5,000.
Motion approved.
Second.
Yes.
So other than plowing for, well, you haven't had to plow for 3 days now.
Yeah.
How lucky to be you. It's in the paper, we've had more snow this month already than we had half of the winter last winter.
Yeah, we've had enough already.
Yeah. Go keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Do you have anything for him?
No.
Jim?
No, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, the fire chief isn't here tonight, so we'll just have Trustee Pauley handle the few fire department items.
Okay, I got a request to approve a purchase order to Damon Chemical in the amount of $158.90 for cleaning supplies for Station 1 and 2, and I'll make that a motion.
Second.
Yes.
I have a request to approve payment to Rose Hillcrest Market in the amount of $974 for the annual Fireman's Christmas Party. I'll make that a motion.
Second.
Yes.
And I have a request to approve and sign a memorandum of understanding for the Stark County-wide Hazardous Materials Response Team in the demolition trailer. Decontamination trailer. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that.
That's no problem.
Do we need to discuss that?
I think the chief wants to pursue this, right?
Yeah, that's the paperwork that allows us to keep it here. That's who you met with a couple meetings ago, FDRU,
Yeah.
and that's the paperwork that goes with it.
This is not that.
No, wait,
This is not that one that they're going to have a trailer and store it here. I'm not going to be here, but I would not think that would be a good idea, but I think this is a good idea.
so I think that's the essence of confusion here. You think this is the same thing we discussed with the two guys that were here, with the private entities?
I thought.
So my understanding that this is for the Stark County hazmat team's trailer to be stored here.
Oh, you know, it may be. Yes,
It's
not.
two different
Yeah, it
things.
is
Okay.
different things.
Agreement with the Stark County Commissioners to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
Yes.
question becomes, with that lack of clarity, do you want to just defer on this, or is it anything important?
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I'm a little confused.
Jill, is it any, I don't think it's any pressing business, right?
I think it can wait right till.
Probably can wait till the first meeting. They had just emailed it over this week.
I'm a little confused.
I believe it is just between us and the EMA director, and it would be just for the purpose of having the hazmat capability here on this side of the county. But why don't we go ahead and wait for some clarity in the next meeting, all right?
All right. Anyways, that's all we have for fire, unless Ed,
I've done.
Jim.
No.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Linda, just a few zoning items to discuss.
Basically, our complaints, the ones that were major, we have set forward dates on.
Why don't I just give you the book, if there are any in particular you wanted to cover?
Okay, we are trying to locate an address for the Tullis property. For Kenny wanted the address of where the woman moved in Florida, so we could maybe address her. The mortgage company has signed a mortgage release. There's no mortgage on that property anymore. And in order to get it demoed, we're trying to get an address for where she moved with the daughter in Florida. So that's just kind of hanging out there. The other three are moving along, but they're not going to get demoed until spring. But my understanding is all three of them passed the asbestos test. Mrs. Bosman, we've moved that one on to March when we're going to reconsider that one. And the one on Beeson is also moved to March. We have sent 2 notices to Jim Hughes for the junkyard down there. They've come back, you know, not able to deliver. I understand he may be a resident, or it's owned by Joey Hughes, the nephew of this gentleman. And I did post it on the door and took a picture of it posted on the door. So that's as far as where we've not been able to get service, so we may have to just advertise that one. And that probably wouldn't be a bad idea to just go ahead and do the advertising, because I don't think we're going to, based on what's going on with the people that own this, that we're going to, you know what I'm, right?
Well, we only have one nuisance that's outstanding, and that's Tullis.
Yes, yeah. And the rest of them are pretty much, 183 auto wrecking, we discussed that in our Board of Zoning Appeals, and we discussed it here. And we pretty much have a list of things that he would have to do to be in compliance and then come back before the board,
All right.
so.
Doesn't sound like there's any new ones, which is good to hear.
No, nothing major popping out, so I think that is a good sign.
All right, very good. Ed, anything zoning related for your final meeting? Your favorite subject?
I'm not going to discuss the 183 wrecking. That's been a thorn in our side for, I think, 28 and a half years. But anyhow,
Yeah, you started that.
the only thing I have learned that there's an oil well or gas well on that property on Webb. I discovered it when the township received a check for royalties.
It's not on that well, it's on the Sand Camp property, but that's part of the 40 acres.
Is that what it is?
Yes, it's just part of the peripheral, we get.
So the well is not on our property?
No, it is not on the property, it's the Sand Cap well.
Not on the township's property?
No. We just get a small percentage of it as the owners currently. I think, would we get $75?
Would that make it more valuable?
Well, it makes it more valuable by about $75.
Oh, I think it was, no, I think it was $150.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah,
Was
but
it
I just
150?
wondered if it,
But it's not on that property. And it does not have the ability to get free gas there either.
okay.
Sometimes if there's a well on your property and get free gas, that one does not qualify
Okay,
for
that's what
that.
I was wondering about.
But we really probably should discuss, maybe discussing the price we have on that property.
We've already lowered it twice.
All right, what do you have it down to now?
I don't know, $1,700, $1,800, something like that.
1,000.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not up to me.
No, I mean, if you've lowered it down to that, okay, I was not aware that that had been done.
Yeah, I've lowered it twice already.
Okay,
We
that's,
can just hold on to it now and reap the royalties for the next.
I don't think it's gonna sell anyhow. Well, we knew that when we tore the house down.
I don't know, we may be able to get some interest. Metropolitan Housing's trying to get some more grants. You know, they bought those other houses that were built down there. Sometimes Habitat for Humanity gets a grant to buy some property, and that could be reconfigured into 3 building lots. So, you know, there are some,
Sewer.
yes, the water is up there, and the sewer is up within like 400 feet, and there is a lift station already sitting there waiting, so,
It's buildable.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
We might get somebody.
Okay, that, I don't have nothing else.
I'm not willing to forget it, you know, yet.
Mike, anything zoning related?
No.
Okay. Very good, Linda, thank you.
You're welcome.
There are no legal topics to cover tonight, so we'll wrap up with our general township items. First item is a request to approve a purchase order to the Ohio Township Association in the amount of $100 for registration for Dan Moore and Mike Pauley to attend the 2014 Winter Conference. I'll move we open that purchase order.
Second.
Yes.
Next is a request to approve the 2014 temporary budget prepared and submitted by the fiscal officer.
Pass it down, Sean. These are the temporary appropriations that we'll have to start the year with, and we'll have the final budget for you to start working on then.
All right. I'll move that we approve the 2014 temporary budget as prepared by the fiscal officer.
Second.
I'm gonna vote for it. Beyond me.
Basically, she carries our same figures as she's always done, as the fiscal officers do, and it's just to start us off for the
Yeah,
first
just
of
to
the year.
start this
Next item, I'll move we authorize a supplemental transfer in the amount of $1,000 from 2031-330-599 to 2031-330-353 for natural gas expenses.
Again, that is in the road department.
Second.
Yes.
All right, Mike or Ed, anything that's general township related?
No, I have nothing.
I'm done.
Okay. You have the forms there? We have the cash revenue and expenditure financial report for year-to-date prepared by the fiscal officer, and I'll move that we approve that as prepared.
Second.
Yes.
Bills tonight are $27,141.38, and I'll move we authorize payment of those bills.
Second.
Yes.
Number of communication items, as we always receive, catalogs, seminar notices and such, I'll move that we file the communications.
Second.
Yes.
Okay, that wraps up the agenda items, unless Mike or Ed have anything else.
I have done.
I have nothing.
And now's the time to reflect again. We'll turn the floor over to anybody in the audience that has anything to share. Now's your opportunity, come on. They're easy on you, Ed. See? All right, well, we'll wrap up our meeting then. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Yes.
All right, now Ed, I hope the past, what's it been, about 15 minutes, you've been thinking about 28 years of experience here with the board.
I've been thinking about it all day.
Okay.
It's 28 years, a long time. I signed the checks tonight, and I asked the clerk, I said, how many would you think? And we come up with a figure, you probably signed your name 3,000 times in 28 years. And it's been a good ride. I have no regrets at all. I was recruited. I had never been to a trustee meeting before I was elected. I was recruited. They said, you know, that's a hell of a mess. You need to do something about it. And I figured, well, you know, I'll give it a shot. And it's come up from there. I mean, that was a low point. We had trustees that couldn't agree on the time of day. They were nice people. George Wybush, I had lunch with George once a month. and Agnes, they were nice people, but they just couldn't absolutely agree on nothing, you know? A meeting lasted, our meeting we seen tonight lasted 20 minutes, something like that. Their meetings lasted 2 or 3 hours or more. And they would have 40, 50 people at our meeting. We've only had something like that when you really have a problem, maybe just 2 or 3 times in the 28 years. We've had when that, I don't know whether you remember when the incinerator was going to come to on Beeson Street, we had 200 people at a meeting, but that was one time. Most of the time, we get somebody that's got a problem, or 2 or 3 or 4, and we'll get maybe 15, 20 people. We have our regulars that come all the time to keep us straight, but not. It's been good. If you have good people, and we've hired good people, if you have good people and they do their job, it makes this job so much easier. I don't know, I'm usually I'm not lost of words, but you know, after this, you know, Shirley's not going to miss answering the phone. She takes and she's fielded a lot of calls. Until we had an office at trash pickup, I think she was getting ready to divorce me because the phone rang all day. But and we've moved forward. If you look at our equipment and the things that we do, we've got a fabulous road department, and people don't realize that citizens of Lexington Township really support our road department. Washington Township has 2 road people, Marlboro has 2, we have 3, because Lexington Township wants their roads cleaned off in the wintertime right away, and we provide the men to do that right away. And our roads, I don't think you'll find a better roads anywhere. They do a fabulous job. What really hurts is we have some roads that are county, and they don't get plowed sometimes half the winter's over with, I think, before they plow. Not really, but anyhow. But it's been good. I'm leaving the township better than when I started, and that's the main thing. And I wish all the luck in the world to our board, our new trustee, and the rest of you guys. I know I'm leaving it in good hands.
Thank you, Ed. Ed, I think it'd be appropriate if you would just to introduce the family that's come out tonight. You've got a number of your family members in support. So if you don't mind, just introduce them to us.
Yeah, do you know that it's funny? I was at a convention and I had 300 or 400 people that I was talking to, and they said, would you mind introducing the president of your club and things like this? And I said, sure, and I got up and I couldn't think of his name. Now I'm sure I'll think of it. Let's start with Shirley. Shirley. But anyhow, just when he said that for just a second, I hesitated. But anyhow, we have Debbie Skubiak and Chris, my daughter. She retired after teaching 35 years, and Chris works as standard testing. But Debbie, she retired, and she hasn't stopped running yet. She's enjoying her retirement, but I don't know whether she has enough time to do any enjoyment. And then Jerry and Sherry. Jerry is a regional manager for a dog toy company, believe it. They're specified, their toys are made in the United States, which is not very often that you find that. He travels about 100,000 miles a year. And Sherry works for a company that supplies interiors for airplanes. And she has an office in France and
Singapore. Can't.
Singapore, he was trying to sing.
yes. And she flies to France and Singapore at least once a year. She told me the other day, she said she should have been over there last month or so. She's going to leave. And it's interesting to tell me, the round trip flight from Singapore and back was, how much was it, Sherry?
About 9,000.
That's a lot of money. But anyhow, and then of course there's Shirley, my wife, of course, and my two granddaughters, Lee and Ann. Lee is going to graduate from Purdue this spring, and Ann's got another year in Ohio State. So that's the family that's here.
Very good, thanks, Ed. We have a couple of things for you as well, so I'm going to bring up the road superintendent. And if you guys want to join him, you want to join him? Come on. They have something for you.
Oh my, you know, the way I pick on the road department, I'm not sure.
Appreciation.
Thank you. Thank you. I told a story about Mike Lynn's is our newest one, and I've told it to 3 or 4 groups already. But we provide him with a $100,000 truck, and then we stick a 10-ton or whatever it weighs plow on the front of it, and then we tell him, you got to plow the roads as close to the edge as you can. And what happens when you get too close, he proved, you go in the ditch. And so his fellow employees made him Rookie of the Year with a picture that's in the office. And I've told that story before, that that was quite an indoctrination. But then this year, they were plowing, I run into the road for him, and I said, you guys got any mailboxes? And he said, yeah, we got one. I said, who is it? He said it was his. So the road foreman got a mailbox. And then the only other thing, my son Jerry lives on Snowed Road, and they take his mailbox down every year. And then also Mike does the plowing there.
That's just to get back to
Anyhow, I
you.
think he's trying to send him in.
All right. Well, Ed, we have something for you as well, and I hope you know exactly what we think of you, Mike and myself. We have always appreciated the time that we've spent with you. I've had the pleasure of serving with Ed for 14 years on the Board of Trustees, and it is with all sincerity when I say that I've learned a lot from him, and I've always appreciated his sage advice, and I'll do my best as I continue on the board to continue his tradition of looking out for the best interests of the township residents. And that is with the utmost sincerity. I've always appreciated the time working with you.
Thank you.
And what we have here for you, Mike, you want to stand up here? You know that it's kind of tradition to give plaques out, but we wanted to make one that didn't just have a routine saying on it, so we hope that you do appreciate this. The plaque that we have prepared recognizes your 28 years in service on behalf of the township residents from 1986 through 2013. And it states at the top, thank you for your dedication and leadership. As you reflect upon your years of service, remember the respect and admiration of an appreciative public. Edward W. Moffett.
Thank you.
I'd like to just thank Ed for all his years of service, and I've served 5.5 years, and Ed's not only been a good friend, but a good mentor to me and taught me a lot of things. Not that I don't have a lot to learn, but I appreciate that, and I look forward to our friendship in the future.
Thank you.
And I'll say, over the years, I tell people this, Ed always looks out for the best interests of the township, always. On any decision, any discussion, it's really, I think the township's indebted to him, really, more than people know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, well, thanks again, everybody. Debbie?
I just want to share something that my brother and sister-in-law have been talking. We went door to door when he first started to go out. And Sherry and Jerry were first dating when we went out. And if we didn't want to go to the house, we made Sherry go. So there's a lot of memories of that and of his swearing in. And Annie and Lee have kind of grown up because they're not even 28. But Mom and I and my brother and everyone would like you to enjoy cake and punch, and we thank you for coming. And it's been Dad's privilege to serve the trustees. I've been there many times when the phones rang. I've answered it many times also. So it's been a real challenge. Dad's going to miss it. And we really appreciate everyone's support. And please join us for cake, or we're going to be eating it for a month.
Thank you, Debbie, and thanks again, everybody.